Factual recounts or procedural writing provide instructions on how to make or do something and follow a standard program pattern or format. We know them commonly as recipes, instructions, or user manuals. Procedures typically begin with a statement of the goal, list the materials needed in order for use, provide a series of steps in sequential order, and each instruction begins with a verb in the present tense. In terms of resources, I located a template on teachstarter.com. The worksheet provides a template or skeleton for students to organise their thoughts and ideas in order to document their procedure. If I was developing a unit plan on procedural writing, I would incorporate the worksheet at the end of the series of lessons to help students understand the basics of procedural writing. Initially, I would introduce the concept of procedural writing by asking students questions like, how do you wash your hands? How do you brush your teeth? What happens at bedtime? Do you brush your teeth before or after you get into bed? By discussing processes that students are familiar with, it opens them up to allowing them not only to find their own meaning, but it also introduces the concept of instructions and associated language structure using the familiar. In small groups, I would then ask the students to discuss other processes or instructions they can think of and present them to the class as a whole. I'm a firm believer that students learn by doing, so following lessons would be via means of a simple recipe and in small groups make chocolate crackles. I love chocolate crackles, so any chance to make them, I'm taking them. In completing the activity, this provides a tangible approach to students to see the procedure at work and allow them to explore the length required. And we could also break the cooking sequence up by asking students, okay, so I've put all the ingredients together. Do I mix them now or do I mix them later? Following the cooking and eating activity, I would then provide a jumble of steps and ask students to organise them in ways in which we followed the chocolate crackle lesson. I'd also look at language structure, like point out the verb at the start of the instruction and so forth. And finally, using the teacher starter skeleton, I would ask students to document another procedure or another recipe that they were familiar with and present that to the class.